So now we are back at it again. We were just at a charity event. It was really nice. That's why also ours is now with a jacket. Look at him. It got a little bit dark outside, but we have a good lighting here. And the first question I want to ask you now, after this charity event, how was it for you to work in this charity event? I guess you don't really consider it as work. It was like more helping the community. How did it make you feel?
Wallahi, first maybe something about the charity event.
Yeah, sure.
So this is a school where we're teaching Arabic and Islamic teachings, and today it was a special event before Ramadan, and it was like an open bazaar.
Yes.
And the children of the school, they're bringing some things and they're selling it in this bazaar, and the revenue is going half of it for the children, and half of it for the building of a mosque.
Okay, good.
And it's something very nice to be a part of, because this is something that's you're doing something for a good you're doing something good, and every part of hasanat, like good deeds, you're contributing to it, so you're getting also the same amount of it in hasanat. So being a part of it, it's actually something rewarding, and something that I'm happy to be a part about.
Okay, nice.
A part of. Yeah.
From what I understood from today, the situation is that the government itself, they are not building mosques. They are not providing money for mosques. I don't know how is it for the churches, but I think the churches in Europe, they have a long history. So somehow they finance themselves. In Germany, for example, the members of the church, they pay taxes. They pay taxes from their salary to the churches, and then the churches, they can, for example, maintain and build churches from this money. But I think in Islam, it's not the same, right?
Here in the Netherlands, the mosques are self-sufficient. So you're not able to find investors or people who are willing to invest for a good cause. You cannot find investors from outside of the country.
Okay, this is illegal.
It's illegal, and so the only thing that's keeping the mosques open is actually the charity, the donations of the people.
Okay, so they rely on the donations from inside, from their own people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is going good so far, or they are struggling here?
Alhamdulillah, they've been trying to build a mosque for a very long time. And sometimes like it's not always easy, because for building a mosque you also have to get the acceptance of the people where the mosque is going to be built. Okay. So we had this old mosque, and we wanted to renovate it, and wanted actually to demolish it and start it already build it from scratch. And every time we wanted to make this happen, the people of the neighborhood, they would appeal to building of this mosque. So it's every time, like we're trying to apply for it, and then they would reject, and apply, and they would reject. But alhamdulillah, since 2018, we got their acceptance.
Okay.
And we closed the mosque and demolished it, and since then we're building it.
Okay.
It's 2000. No, I think it's from 2020, 2021, and now we just passed by it, and it's almost complete. Alhamdulillah. Yes. It won't be open in this Ramadan, but inshallah shortly afterwards it will be open.
And if you can briefly answer this, we don't have to go too deep into this topic today. How is your life as a Muslim here? We already touched this topic before in the first video. By the way, anyone who just tuned in now into the second video, I highly recommend to first watch the first episode. We are in Groningen now in the Netherlands. So it's good to know the background of ours, my friend here, and my background, that you understand what we are talking about. So yeah, just give us a brief summary. How is the situation right now in the Netherlands? I can also update you about the situation in Germany. Is there a lot of Islamophobia going on, or do you feel safe? How is the Muslim community?
To be honest, I think I'm living in a country where you're allowed to do everything.
Yes.
So being a Muslim,
from the law
and also from the people.
So there's religious freedom.
Yes.
And you feel that the people themselves, they accept.
For as far as I know and as far as I heard, I think I'm living in one of the most safe countries.
Yes.
Although maybe I've like I mentioned some things that you're not able to freely address or to freely show your normal your Islamic teachings and the things that you want to do. But in general, like I don't feel threatened at all. I don't feel I'm being looked upon in a different way. I don't feel like I'm being seen as someone who's out of the society. It's to make it short, like I feel really safe, and the people like the Dutch people are very understanding, and you can sometimes in work I can tell them like I have to pray, and then they will tell you. They wouldn't even, like only asking might feel like you're doing something extra. You're making them feel like as a burden. They would say, okay, you can just go and then come after you finish.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really feel like it's I feel you're quite safe in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you pray in the hospital?
I can pray in the hospital.
Okay.
And I think in every hospital there's this still Toronto. It's like a silent room.
Yes.
Where you would find a lot of carpets already for people who want to pray.
And I saw also in the uni here in Groningen University, I was also studying here. I saw that there were two rooms available. One was also, I think, a silent room for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there were two silent rooms.
Yeah. In the hospital there's a silent room, and in the faculty there's a room that they turned it into a
I discovered one in the university bibliothèque. In the UB.
Yeah.
University bibliothèque.
Yeah.
Library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also a silent room where you can pray.
Your culture, this is not culture, this is religion. It's also present here. It's not, you don't have to hide it.
No.
Okay.
We're living here, and we had like the brothers and sisters from Morocco and the Turkish people have been living here for many years. Yes. So I think the Dutch society, they're already they understand the culture, and they the Moroccans and the Turkish, they made it easier for us to come here and to live a life. Yeah.
It's also like if someone might watch this who comes from Saudi and he hasn't been to Europe yet, for example, or from another Muslim country, this is something interesting to know, because for me as a German or for Dutch people, we know how is the situation here. We see the Muslims, we see what they are doing, and we see in the media that there's a lot of conflict going on. The media, I think, from my opinion, also in Germany, I think they are overdrawing the picture. So they always want to report about conflict. They will not make a photo where a German politician is shaking hands with the imam and they will write a headline and say, thank you for the partnership.
For community.
No, they just want to show car accidents. They want to show someone who slapped someone. So they are always highlighting the conflicts. And of course there are conflicts between religious and non-religious people, also between Christians and non-Christians. This is part of the life, I guess, but it's good to hear that you feel comfortable in this country, and that students who can come here, that they feel comfortable. And I think also in Germany sometimes the how they say it, the food is cooked hotter than it's eaten. I'm not sure.
Okay, you mean
they overdraw the picture of the conflict. Like the Muslims that I see there, the Muslim community, they can all more or less live in peace, practice their religion, and unfortunately, the media is making still a big thing out of all of this.
Yeah, sometimes you have these news where the people of other origins, they're put into the scope for something bad. But you also have some good news. Like one of the things that actually, like, I was surprised to see is, I think last year or the year before, the day before Ramadan, like in the news, like one of the headlines is that from tomorrow starts Ramadan, for example. Yes. I think that's something good to
we should also focus on the positive.
It's
not
positive
always news,
negative.
The positive reports in the media. It's not all black and white.
It's not always negative. No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, good. And coming back to the topic of studying, we covered already some points in the first video. Now I want to ask more about the study itself, the content, the material. When I studied with you in the third year of the bachelor, so I was studying in Oldenburg in Germany, and I came to the Netherlands, to Groningen, for my third year of the bachelor, even though we don't have the bachelor and master system. But in my third year of medicine, I came to Groningen as an exchange for 1 year, and I got to know my friend Ausin this time. And so I know a part of your study, but I only know a part, and I want to hear the whole story from you. I know that we had to read a lot from books. They gave us the chapters of the books.
That's true.
I think they got landed to us the books from the library.
You can have the books, but they're asked that you buy the books from the beginning of the year.
I didn't buy it. I think maybe for the exchange students they gave it.
Yeah.
And was this a pretty expensive cost, or was it affordable?
No, it wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap. So you have to take it in consideration.
Yes.
There will be costs for material, for books.
If you're planning to buy the books, if you're planning to buy the whole list, it will cost you around 1,000 euros.
Okay.
That's for the whole study.
If you're still manageable.
If you're going to buy year per year, every year, like maybe the first year you're gonna pay 500, 600 for the basic books that you need.
And you can resell it after?
You can resell it. Yes. You can resell it. But now I think you can also find books online. You can find e-books from the university.
For free?
For free.
Okay, good.
As a student, you can have access for them.
Okay, nice.
So it's not.
And I also got to know a kind of company who were selling summaries. Do you remember what I mean?
Slim Studieren, I think,
exactly.
One of them. Yeah.
So they basically, did you ever try this?
I didn't use it that much.
I saw it one time. I think they sold a printed version and a digital version of like the
block of the
module
per block.
Per block. We always studied in blocks or in modules, and then we had exams. I think this is pretty similar in a lot of medicine schools. And this is a kind of company, I think an official company, and they are always updating the summaries and selling them. And I think a lot of students, they actually studied with it.
Yeah. And
then
they pass with it.
yes,
They pass with it, yeah.
so this is an option. Of course, you also have to pay them, but I think they were quite affordable. Like
Yeah, 10, I think 15 euros
yeah,
per booklet.
really okay.
Yeah.
And of course there are also some private summaries going around that you will find. Thanks to Kai's summary, he had a big Facebook group
Yeah.
and was sharing his summaries. It was really helpful for me. I learned 1 year only with summaries, and it was manageable to pass the exams and be provided well.
Yeah.
I also sometimes
He was from my year, by the way,
Okay,
I have
nice.
to say.
great Kai. Kai is in Germany now. He's working in Germany. If you ever see this, thanks a lot. And sometimes I looked into the books because we had some kind of homework, or I wanted to see the source itself. But yeah, you don't. And now there's also Amboss. So do the students now use Amboss a lot also?
I mean, Amboss always try to make a business kind of between them and the Roch, or the Roch students. They came
The
one
Roch
time.
is your university.
Rijksuniversiteit Groningen.
Yes.
They try to, because I think it's a German company or a
Yes.
German company, and they're functioning in the whole Germany as if I'm right.
So for the people who are watching this, Amboss is a learning system, an online learning platform, a software, something you can access online in the browser, and you can look up, for example, all the diseases. I didn't check the
You can find the
pre-clinic.
diseases. It's
Also the
pre-clinic.
pre-clinic courses, physiology.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I didn't check this because I only started using it. I think in the masters, in the clinical phase, or for the diseases, because we have a system where we start pretty early with the diseases. I used it mostly for the diseases. Then you have always some abstracts about the diseases, and it's pretty
Compact. Summarized. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was always easier to read bullet notes instead of full text.
Full text. Yeah.
And for the system itself, a lot of German universities, I don't know if it's all now, they have a license. They bought a license from Amboss so that all the students can access it for free.
Yeah.
But you need to log yourself in with the university license.
Email.
Your university has also a license now, or they
No,
don't have?
I think they tried to make this license with the University of Groningen, but it never happened.
And do you use it?
I use it myself.
But then you pay privately.
I pay privately.
And you feel it's worth it?
I think it's pretty worth it.
Okay.
I think it summarizes the important things, and if you want it in more details, you can just press on one of the toggles, and you get more information.
And in which language do you use it?
English.
English. Is it also available in Dutch?
I don't think it's available in Dutch. I'm
In
not
Arabic?
sure. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so.
We use it in Germany.
In German.
We use it in German in Germany. But yeah, I think I saw it also in English one time. Yeah, I like Amboss. I studied a lot with Amboss in Germany. And about the study methods, I think one time we shared our experience about the study methods, like how we make summaries, and then I told you one time about the mind mapping. Do you still do mind mapping?
I did it for some time, and I think after you told me about it, I was doing it almost with everything. Like I would always have an A4 paper and turn it on the side like a landscape, and then write my notes.
Yes.
Whenever I'm using A4 paper, I'm using that method.
You're still doing it?
Yeah.
Good. Because this is something like throughout the study we get to try different methods of learning, and for me the mind mapping was the most effective. So just for the viewers, I want to quickly explain it. So what I always did, most of the time in medical school, after the pre-courses, you have to study diseases. So name any disease, name any disease.
Heart failure.
Heart failure.
Heart
Then
infarct.
you will take the A4 paper, as he said, in horizontal. You will put in the middle heart failure, for example. And then what I always did, I put it in parts as they do it in Amboss, as it's usually done for clinical diseases, also in books, that you have the reason, like
epidemiology
or the etiology,
yeah.
Together with the pathophysiology, like etiology, pathophysiology,
symptoms,
diagnosis, diagnostics,
and
then therapy. So and then you have an overview, and then you can interconnect things with errors. You can, for example, say because of this symptoms you need this medication, because of this symptom you need to do this kind of diagnostics. So then you visualize it for yourself, and it helped me a lot. You need to figure out which kind of learner you are, and you can use different learning methods that it just gets stuck in your brain harder. And really for me, I had when I had my last exam, it was an oral exam in uni, the final one. When they asked me questions, I could literally see the answer in front of my eye.
Where in the page? Which one? What is it?
Yeah.
And how it's written?
And even one time, the professor, he asked me a question about a disease, and in my brain, I looked up the wrong sheet, and I started to tell a lot, but it was from the wrong disease, and it made no sense. And he just stopped me because he just understood there's something wrong. He said, no. Then I took a small break to rethink. Then I went in my brain to the other page, and then I started again without understanding, to be honest, but I just learned it by heart, which is fine for some situations. And then again I saw the bullet points that I wrote, and I just read the day before. So you constantly also need to, of course,
you need to revise it,
keep it fresh in your memory. But for me, this worked a lot stronger than just reading.
I can give you an example.
Yes.
I had to reset one of the semesters, and for that semester, I think you told me about this mind mapping, and I was reading the physiology book, Guyton's Physiology, and making my own summaries in this mind mapping, and I can remember the exact page and the exact information where it's set in this page.
Yeah, nice.
Alhamdulillah, because of this, I think I was able to pass that exam.
Yeah, and for everyone it might be a different method. So it's not like when I found this, I thought, I have to spread it to everyone that they need to do mind mapping. But then later I found out that it's very individual. Like everything suits someone else. And you just need to try different things.
Should we start wrapping up because it's Maghrib time?
Sure.
Anyway, like about this mind mapping, I think it's one of the nicest things that I learned, because I tried writing texts. I tried reading like a paragraph and then paraphrasing it or summarizing it and writing it, and that didn't help that much, to be honest, because it's easier like when you see a page and you see like the information placed in a way, it's easier for you to remember it.
Yes.
So it's one of the strongest methods like I learned to memorize things.
Maybe one last question for this session. What would you say to another student who wants to apply for medical school? Is it about working hard or being smart? Like, do you have to put in just a lot of hours, be hardworking, and then everyone can pass it? Or is it more about having a high IQ? Because I think there's a lot of myths going around, like that to be able to be a doctor, to pass medical school, you need to be like one of the nerdy guys, like the guys from Big Bang Theory. What is your experience?
I tried both methods. I tried reading everything, and I tried just getting to the point with what I need.
Yes.
And I think it's easier to study smart. And I think you should study smart, to be honest, because the information that you have in medicine is it's
unlimited.
It's unlimited.
Yeah.
And it's you can keep reading it non-stop, but for at least maybe the first 3 years you need to have like a sufficient level of theory. And for this theory, I think it's more about concepts. If you understand these concepts, you don't have to understand. You don't have to know every information, every side information.
But then, for these concepts, you need to be smart, right?
Yes, you have to know what's the main point of this topic, for example.
They cannot all be understood by just working hard.
No. So try to. I think it's more putting it as smaller goals. What do you want to understand, and just try to understand it, and you should be enough for you.
If someone doesn't feel too smart, now I'm talking about the IQ, and he would tell you, yeah, I still want to try it, and I'm willing to work really hard. You feel he can do it? Should he keep his hope up, or you just feel there's a certain level of intelligence, and if you don't belong to this group, better don't try it, don't waste your time? What is your impression?
Wallah, honestly, if you plan to start medicine, you have to be ready to take it as part of your life. It's not something that you can do on the side. It's not something that you're gonna go to college.
This guy tells you, I'm ready to work 12 hours a day. Like, he's ready to put a lot of work, but he's afraid. He feels that he's not one of the smartest guys. Like, he didn't have
You can still do it. You can still manage it. With hard work, of course, you can manage it.
You can balance it. So, in the end, this is my experience as a medical student, or was my experience, that I think, of course, the one who's smart now in IQ. There's also other smartness, street smartness,
emotion smartness,
different things. Now we're talking about IQ. The one who has a pretty high IQ, it might be easier for him. Learning itself might be faster for him. He might need to invest less hours and have a better understanding, and he might score better grades. Okay, but then on the other hand side, this was also my experience for what I saw for myself and for other people. If you don't belong to this kind of group of people, hard work still pays off. So you can manage, but it will be hard. It will be tough.
Yeah.
You will be needed to put a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And I think
and sleep less in the night.
For me personally, the hardest challenge was to be patient. Patient and disciplined. So that when you need to study, that every morning you will wake up, you have your routine, that you go to the library, for example, you study a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of chapters, workload, presentations, and you don't debate about it. There's no quitting.
You have to put the effort.
There's no, like, after the lunch you go and play with your friends. It's like you have a plan and you need to do it. And for me, actually, this also was a point I wanted to share at some point. I came to the point that I felt I'm the slave of myself. So because I felt in medical school, I felt so much under pressure to always succeed in the exams, that I was so afraid, to the point where I really made myself my own slave. So there was no debating in the morning. Should I go to the library or not?
You're gonna go.
I will go. Like, okay, then some people might listen to the story and say, okay, this is nice, this is really good discipline. But what comes with this is suffering. And now I'm finished with medicine school for a year now, but this kind of emotion still follows me. It's still in my neck, you know? And I was trying to get rid of it, and it got better after a while, but I really felt how how I had to change myself to be able to go through university, through medicine school, because as you said, it's not something that comes easy.
No.
And now we have, for example, the two different people. The one, he might be so smart or so high in IQ, he might go along with it, and maybe he doesn't change himself too much. But for me, I had to change myself a lot about being patient, being disciplined. And I like the challenges. I like that, okay, I have 30 days until the exam. I will try to make a plan, try to master everything. Then if I passed, I will get a lot of dopamine. I will feel always the day after the exam, if I was able to pass, I will feel happy. I will feel, I did something good. It gives also a good reward, but it's tough, it's hard, and you will be destroyed. You will also struggle with your physical health. You will have headaches. You will have
days where you don't have time to eat.
Yeah, okay, this never happened for me, to be honest. Always made room.
It happened, yeah.
I'm always hungry, so I will always eat. But it's not easy, of course, as we all know, and this is famous about medicine school, that it's a little bit tough, a little bit tougher than some other university courses also. But yeah, it can be worth it if you want to do it, if you want to be a doctor, or if you want to do any other career within medicine. So therefore we can sum it up to say that
eventually if it's worth it. Like I don't want to interrupt you, but I had a friend who also studied medicine, and I sent him a message. Like, it was kind of a joke, but it was also like like a real message. So he took a picture like on Snapchat that he's going to work, and I think finishing at work at 4 o'clock in the night. And I sent him a message like, is it worth it? And his reply was, of course. And honestly, I didn't expect this reply. So eventually, I think after all, it will pay back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how? One last final question. Now, we spoke about the charity event today, and you didn't really answer it, but I guess you liked the event and the contribution you did to it. For example, in the end, we cleaned up the place. This doesn't really feel like work, right?
No.
So comparing this to the work in the hospital, how does it feel? Like, how does it feel working in the hospital?
Well, studying medicine is it's like a job.
Sure.
It's something that you're gonna be paid afterwards. The other thing, it's you're helping, inshallah, in the name of God, in the name of Allah. You're doing something good in the name of Allah, and the reward for it, you don't want it here. You want it in the hereafter.
Now you're talking about the charity?
Yes.
Can't you also work in the name of God in the hospital?
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But I think in the hospital, you're treating patients.
Yeah.
Okay. You're treating one person. In the school, you're teaching people. You're standing, and your effect is upon 10, 20, 30 persons at once. And
then you might as well take 20 or 30 patients.
Yeah, but with the students, everything that they learn from you and they apply in their life, you get rewarded. You get rewarded in hasanat. You get rewarded in good deeds.
And then if you cure someone, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You can keep going.
I want to debate with you a little bit. If you will heal someone from a disease, and after he's healed, he might do some good actions in this world. Won't it also be a nice thing?
It is a nice thing. I'm not saying it's not a nice thing. But for example, when you teach someone Surah Al-Fatiha, every time they recite it,
explain what you are talking
Surah
about?
Al-Fatiha, it's one of the chapters of the Quran where if you want to pray or when you pray, you must read it.
So now he's comparing his work in a Arabic and Islamic school
to the work
in
a hospital. So every time a person stands up and reads Surah Al-Fatiha,
yes,
you get the rewards of it. You get the rewards of it.
But sorry to interrupt you. I didn't mean to compare it like this because we cannot all be religious teachers. Then the world couldn't continue if we all just teaching. Then we will all die.
Yeah.
Because there's no food, there's no doctors.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was, but I mean, partly you answered it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to come more to the point. How do you feel in the hospital? Does it feel stressful for you? How is the atmosphere like? Do you feel the emotions of the patients that they are sick? Do you feel the emotions of the doctors that they are in stress? How is it here? I've never been to a hospital in the Netherlands.
I think it depends on how you're functioning. Like how are you in the day?
Yeah.
The best thing that I saw is that when you take care of a patient, like I was walking with this doctor, and he was like a perfect example for me of how to give care to a patient. Maybe I'm not able to cure you, but I can show you compassion. I can, like hold your hand or like do some gestures to make you feel that you're being taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is the most highest level of care as that you can achieve as a doctor. And I would love for me to perform this every day. But it's not always like this. Sometimes you're also like you're doing it as a job. Yeah, like you're doing it as like you're analyzing what the patient has, what is the best way to talk with the patient and to give the medication. Of course, as much as you can, you have to do it in a nice way. But it's not always optimal. Sometimes you have patients as well, like who might argue, who might discuss things, and which is fine. But it's not always like the care that you're giving is not always optimal.
So you feel the system itself, the hospital, it's only partly empowering you to actually give a really good care in how you view the care, like taking giving attention to the patient, only partly. Like partly you are satisfied, and partly you are missing something that the individual itself might be lost in the system.
It's I mean, the system, the hospital always tries to fulfill your personal needs, like your personal. It tries as much as it can to make you in a good mood in the hospital, so that you can give care for the patients. But you're not always in the state of, giving something, giving something. Yeah, you're a human being. You also have emotions.
This is what I was just wanting to put on your tongue. Yeah. In the end, you are a human. Of course, you will not always be in the best mood and totally energetic.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have an ideal model how you would like to function, but of course, this is not always possible.
Exactly.
But in general, you feel the hospitals in the Netherlands, they give you the space to perform.
Yeah. They try to take care of the emotions as a doctor or as a.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think for now we will take a break.
Yes.
And then we will see each other in the next session.
Inshallah. Oops.